Hey, hey, how's everybody doing? Tiffany here. I'm getting ready to get started. Make sure all the chat and everything is working. Yep. All right. We'll give everyone a couple minutes to trickle on. Hey, Lorraine. Good to see you on here. Thanks for tuning in. Are you new? Have you been on one of these before? Hey, Terry. Excited to dive in with you guys and go over all the details so you guys can really get good, clear picture of what it's like to be able to take control of the money coming into your family, build your own business and work towards having your own financial and time and location freedom. It's going to be awesome. All right. Hey, Valerie, good to see you on here. Thank you so much for popping on here. Shannon, Trisha, welcome. Welcome. I'm going to share my screen here in a second. Let's see. I'll share the screen. Yeah, glad to have you. You know, I Googled you on YouTube and was listening to some of your songs. I also saw that you had a Melanie Martinez concert video on your personal YouTube, and we just went to her concert in Washington. My two girls are obsessed with her. Obsessed. We listen to Melanie Martinez all day, every day. All right. I'm going to share my screen. You guys let me know if you can see it okay, and everyone hear me okay as well. Let's see. Okay, so whoops, I need to pop the chat open. Okay, great. Thanks, Shannon. Appreciate it. So for some reason, Zoom is a little bit weird. When you guys are chatting, it says host and panelists or everyone. So if you want just me to see it, you can type into host and panelist. If you want everyone to see it, you can change that to everybody. But feel free throughout this whole presentation, if you've got questions or comments or anything like that, don't hesitate to drop them in the chat. So welcome to our webinar. We got a lot more people that have been flowing in, so thank you guys. And appreciate you guys all taking some time out to join me this morning. And I am excited to take a dive in with you to show you how you can have this exciting journey into business ownership and be able to get to work from home or from the road and achieve your personal goals when it comes to finances, but also location and time preferences as well. So what I'm going to show you on this webinar is that by starting a bookkeeping business, you can easily get up to $5,000 per month and only have to work about 10 hours per week to complete all the bookkeeping work for those clients. And you can get up to this within just a few short months of starting your bookkeeping business. And this is doable even if you work full-time and you have kids at home, and if you've never done bookkeeping before. So this is something that we help lots of people accomplish. Of course, the timeline is different for everybody. It depends on the effort you put in, but I've seen, we've helped thousands and thousands of people do this already, and I've seen this particular scenario work out a lot of times for our students. So this is what we're set up to help you guys achieve. So if this is something that you're looking to accomplish for yourself or your family, then you guys are all here in the right place. And I'm going to dive into all the details of what makes this possible so you guys know how we can help you and the results that you can achieve, but also how do you actually get these results. So this whole webinar is going to show you everything about that. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Tiffany Higgins. I am a CPA and I am a mom of 5. I founded the Stay-at-Home Bookkeeper Academy back in 2019 after my family experienced all the wonderful things that happened to us after we started our bookkeeping business, which we had from 2015 to 2019. So I was able to work part-time from home, growing my business with a 6-month-old on my hip and 2 elementary school age children. And I did that pretty quickly and easily. And so much so that about 7 months after I started my business, my husband was able to quit his job. Thank you so much. And leave corporate America as well. So, really exciting stuff. I was able to pay for all of our bills at the time. He retired on Christmas Eve of 2015. So, we just celebrated our 8 years of the two of us being both completely out of corporate America and working for ourselves and being fully self employed, which was really, really cool. But I grew my bookkeeping business steadily over a few years until I was making over $200,000 a year. And during that whole time, I was working less than a 40-hour work week, which was amazing. And because of this flexible schedule and really low time commitment to make that kind of money, I was able to do things that I wanted to do for my family. So, for example, we ended up deciding to grow our family. I gave birth to twins and I was able to nurse them for 2 years. And the reason I bring that up is because that is a very demanding thing. If you have a corporate job, it's really difficult to be able to nurse in general, especially if you're not good at, you can't pump. But then also on with twins, it's even harder. But I was able to do that for 2 solid years with the twins and still be able to grow my business during that time as well. We also decided to homeschool our older 3 kids during this time. So we took on those responsibilities and we even moved to a different city. This all happened in like 2018, 2017, and 2018. And that whole entire time, our business still steadily kept growing. And of course, we were making, more money than we had ever made at our corporate jobs combined, but also got to do these things with our family that we really wanted to do. Now, I will let you guys know, homeschooling 3 kids, nursing twins, even without having a business was quite stressful, but it's what I wanted to do. And we just made it work. And honestly, out of all of that stuff, the business was probably the easier thing that I did. So, but it was nice, even though it was something that was challenging and hard, kind of a harder time in our life, we wouldn't have been able to even attempt or do any of that stuff if we wouldn't have had the bookkeeping business. So I'm excited to share with you guys how, if any of those things are something that you're looking forward to doing, how a bookkeeping business can help you accomplish them. So I would love to know if yes, if this falls for you. So type a yes in the chat if you would like to work from home with reduced hours, but more money coming in, and also being available to your family anytime they need you. So let me know if that is something that you guys are looking to accomplish. Awesome. I see lots and lots of yeses. Great. Fantastic. And if you guys aren't seeing them, a lot of people are posting to host and panelists. So I'm the only one that can see some of these. But lots of yeses. Great job. I love it. So just so you guys know, at the Bookkeeper Academy, this is our mission. Our mission is to empower people to become financially independent without sacrificing connectivity with their families by offering the education and framework to launch their own bookkeeping business from home. So this is what we stand for. This is why we're here. Our motto in simplistic terms is have your cake and eat it too. So we believe that you shouldn't have to choose between being the kind of parent that you want to be for your kids, or if you don't have kids, living the kind of life that you want to live for yourself, but also being able to provide for you and your family financially as well. So we don't choose, we teach our students how they can have both. And on this call, I'm going to show you how you can have your cake and eat it too, being able to reach financial freedom for your family while being able to spend time with them on your terms. So that's what we're going to dive into. So I'm curious who all we have attending today. If you've been on a live webinar with me in the recent past, type a 1 in the chat. If this is your first time here, type a 2. I'd love to see who all we have. All right, a couple of returning people. Awesome. Okay, we have a pretty good mix. I'd say mostly new people, but a handful of returning ones as well. So welcome back to everybody that is returning and getting more comfortable with the idea of becoming a business owner. And for everyone that is new here, welcome to our webinar. We're going to go over lots of information. I'm going to stay on until all the questions are answered. Sometimes that ends up being like a 2.5 hour Zoom call. So, but I'm happy to do that. If you guys have the time and want to stay on, I'll be here to answer everything. If you do have to leave early, that's okay. This is going to be recorded. My husband, Sean, is going to be texting and emailing all of you guys after this is over. So that way you have the link to the recording and a direct line to both of us. So that way, if you have any questions after this or anything comes up in your mind, we'd be happy to talk with you about it. And so if you do have to pop off, feel free to pop back on as well if you can, because we, like I said, I probably will be on here till like 12 or 12:30 Central Time. So also, I do these webinars every Thursday and Saturday, 10 a.m. Central Time right now. So you can hop back on and join me again anytime you need to. If you've got somebody else that's going to help you make a decision on starting your own bookkeeping business, you can bring them too, so they have all the facts. Because I know a lot of times if you go back and you try to talk to somebody, get advice, hey, should I do this? What are you guys thinking? They're not going to understand all the facts about it like you will. So sometimes it's best to have them come here, learn about all the facts, and then you guys can make a really good educated decision. So feel free to invite anybody that's going to help you decide about doing this. And of course, if you know somebody that might like to do this too, you can invite them as well. So got questions, anybody? At the Bookkeeper Academy, we love questions. It's a backbone of how we help people. So don't be shy. Ask me anything you're curious about when it comes to starting this business and how it will work for your family. Transparency is one of our core values here at the Stay-at-Home Bookkeeper Academy. So I'd love to help clear up any question that you have, so you know exactly what this path to financial freedom could look like for your family. So just type that in the chat and I'll answer every single question. So just so you guys know how this webinar is going to go today, so you know exactly what to expect, I'll go over the agenda really quick. The very first thing that we're going to do is go over the investment options and also our new guaranteed approval program. This is where 100% of everyone will be approved to join our program on the smallest payment plan we've ever offered. Even if you have no job or bad credit, you can still get approved, and I'll explain a little bit more about that. But I want to go over this first so you guys understand exactly what that looks like as we're going into this whole presentation. And then the second thing we're going to do is work on defining what your goals are. It's a first step in really understanding where are you now, but where do you want to be? And then that way, if we have those defined, then step 3 will be really fun, because I'll be able to show you exactly why a bookkeeping business is ideal for your family, and then how you're going to utilize it to help you reach these exact goals that you set for yourself. And then lastly, I'll walk you through what it looks like to be in our Bookkeeper Academy and how our team is going to support you as you build your business and carry the success for your business into years to come. And this is whether you're an experienced bookkeeper or if you've never even heard of QuickBooks before. So we've specialized in helping you no matter what your experience level is. So diving in right from the beginning, what is the investment? So I'm going to give you guys some details first about the Academy investment, how you can get started with our new guaranteed funding program. And then if you're new here, you'll be able to see how you can turn this investment into lifelong money for your family. So the investment for the Bookkeeper Academy program is only $12,000 for a full year of support. And we help you learn the skill of becoming a bookkeeping business owner. And we help you go from $0 to $100,000 in your first 12 months. I've also had students that have accomplished this in less time, but it's a little different for everybody, just depending on what your goals are and how quickly you want to get to that goal. But if your goal is to make at least $100,000 in your first year, very doable to do that, even with limited availability on your time. So you can go from literally making $0 and being a brand new business owner and brand new to bookkeeping to making over $100,000 working part-time. So you obviously could pay the $12,000 in full, but we also have a really cool payment plan as well that I'm going to show you guys about here in a second. But I want to show you guys this too. This is your ROI. In our academy, we're set up to help you get a 10x or close to a 10x return on investment just within your first year, if $100,000 is your goal. So if you think about it, investing in yourself, in your skill set, and in starting your own business, that's always going to give you the biggest return on any investment with your money. And then from there, you're going to be able to use your extra business profits to invest in other things that provide passive income for you in the future. So things like 401k or stock market, if that's your thing, real estate, CDs, bonds, whatever it is that you want to utilize to save, long term for retirement, then you can take your business profits and be able to do that. But those ROIs for those things are oftentimes much, much smaller and spread out over a very, very long time span. So investing in yourself first in a business is always going to give you the biggest return on investment. And this is going to be in the first year alone. What I see a lot of times is students double their business almost every year. They're doubling it. So that really makes a pretty massive ROI when you factor in the next 5 or 10 years of working your business, which is really cool. And then your business can also be a retirement plan as well, which I'm going to share with you guys a little bit more about in the middle of this presentation. But that's kind of what you can expect from your investment into the program to get a close to a 10 times return on investment, at least in the first year or so, depending on what your goals are and how quickly you want to grow. But the other cool thing about our program is that our students can start making money right away. So you don't have to go through our Bookkeeper Academy for the full 12 months in order to start making money. Because of the fact that our students are able to get clients so quickly and they can start bringing in money and income into their business right away, we have a lender that's willing to approve anyone and everyone that wants to join our program. So even if you have bad credit, you're no job right now, or maybe you have a tight budget and you can only commit to the payment for a few months at your current income level, you're still approved for financing. So the great thing is, pretty quickly you'll be able to start bringing in clients, making money, and the client money will cover your monthly payment into the academy. And then you'll also be able to start bringing in more money for your family above and beyond that. So every other client will be pure profit for you. And I'm going to break these numbers down too throughout this presentation and show you guys exactly what you're looking at here. So the monthly payment, if you do decide to go through our funding specialist to get into the Bookkeeper Academy program, is $640. So you only need $640 down to get started, and it's the equivalent of 1 to 2 small clients. So if you can make money right away and you only need 1 to 2 clients to cover this investment, you can see how easily it'll be to add clients, and then everything else is going to be pure profit that you'll be able to bring into your family. So very easy to double and triple, this monthly payment and then start adding some money into your family finances. So the way this breaks out is it's based off of a 24-month payment plan. So that would put you at paying a total of $15,360 over the 24-month time span, which obviously would include interest, right? But most of our students are actually able to pay it off early because of what we call new client sign-on fees, which I'm going to show you all about on an upcoming slide. When you get a new client, they usually pay a decent amount for you to do the back work. And so a lot of times our students are able to either dump money into their savings so they can quit their jobs early, or they can dump money onto this so that way they can pay it off. And if you pay it off within 12 months, it's completely interest free, which is really cool. So there's no, downside necessarily to doing the funding, which is really awesome. But even if you do decide to carry out the monthly payments over the 24-month time span and you're paying interest, if you think about it, still $15,000 in exchange for making 100 or something like that and getting to quit your job. If it comes down to it and you got to pay the extra interest, oh well, it's also tax deductible and you're going to be making way more money than that anyway. So, but you do have the option to save that $3,300 by paying it off early. What if you can't find clients, Janine says? Well, I'm going to show you guys the entire slideshow on exactly how I teach everyone to do marketing. So stick around for that. And I'll also show you guys here really soon on what the potential client pool is like. So that is everybody's biggest fear when they join our Bookkeeper Academy is what if I don't get clients? And I will tell you that it's literally impossible to not get a client if you follow our steps and you keep taking action. Now, the only time that I've ever seen people actually truly not get a client, there's two reasons. Number one, they just literally aren't doing anything. Because joining our Bookkeeper Academy program, it's not a magic pill, and it's not a get rich quick scheme. You're going to be working, right? This is a business that you're going to be growing, and there are a lot of perks and a lot of benefits with this business, but it is work and it doesn't magically happen. So I see sometimes people think that they think if I'm just in the Bookkeeper Academy, I'm going to magically have success. No, you actually still have to take action and you have to do the work that we share with you. And it is a very easy to follow step-by-step process. But if you don't do the steps, you won't get clients. The other thing that I've seen when people are struggling finding clients is they're doing the action, but then they're not showing up to get feedback. And sometimes when just based on our own personal experiences and the education that all of us have had, we've all had different experiences in life growing up. We all have different paths of education and things like that. So you may think one thing about marketing and it may be true, maybe not true. So when you start the marketing plan, if you don't show up to our calls and get feedback and show us how it's going, we can't help you tweak it. And so then you may struggle doing the marketing that way if you don't lean on our support. And this is why people that try to do this by themselves without our academy can sometimes have a lot of struggle, and it's hard for them to get their business going because they don't understand marketing. For example, I had this one girl who had bought our DIY course back in 2019, and I talked to her last year or two, and she was like, really wanted to, make something of this, but she's like, I can't find clients. And I was like, well, what have you been doing for marketing? And she's like, well, I sent out 20 emails to CPAs and no one responded. And then she just gave up. She just stopped. I'm like, that's not marketing. That is a poor, sad attempt at trying to get somebody to pay attention to you. And then they didn't. So you just totally gave up. So that would be like step, I don't know, not even step one. That's like before step one. So it's those kinds of things. But if you follow our steps and then you get on our support calls and we say, oh, okay, yeah, you're doing this, but you need to also do this or add this. There's no reason why you shouldn't get clients. So if your area has a ton of CPAs and bookkeepers, that is okay. I'm going to show you why that's okay. There's a couple of reasons why that's really good. But I'll be honest with you guys, I see a lot of bookkeepers out there that don't do a good job. And so, if you're in our academy, we're going to show you how to provide world-class service to your clients. So just because there's a lot of bookkeepers doesn't mean that there's not going to be any businesses for you. And people sometimes leave bookkeepers if two reasons. Number one, they don't do a good job, or number two, they're bad at communicating with their clients. And those are two things that we focus on really heavily in the academy to help you guys get really good at both of those things so that your clients will not only stay with you for years and years and years, but they start doing your marketing for you because they tell all of their friends about you. So that's what we strive to help you with in the academy. But I'll go into detail on why it's okay that you have lots of bookkeepers and CPAs around as well here on an upcoming slide. So of course, if you guys don't want to go through the funding process, you can pay us directly. We have two options on that. We have a $12,000 invoice that you can just pay with a credit card or if you've got savings. And then we also have the ability for you to just pay $3,000 down, and the $9,000 we can split up over the rest of your term in the academy as monthly payments, interest-free. So there's three different ways that you can get started, just depending on, where your finances are right now. And then also, so now that we have the investment details kind of out of the way, I want to talk about your beliefs. I'd love to know what you guys think about making $100,000 in a year. So, do you believe this is something that would be possible for you if you had the right tools, the right opportunity, and maybe the right mentor? Do you believe that you could make $100,000 working part-time from home? So, Relitza says yes. So type a yes or a one in the chat if you believe, yes, I could accomplish that with the right guidance, and maybe a two or a no if you feel like, I can't possibly imagine how I could ever make that kind of money for my family. So far, I'm seeing lots of ones. All right. Okay, so pretty much everybody is saying one. Okay, great. And if you are a two or you're secretly like a 1.5, that's okay. That's okay. Very normal and common to feel that way too. But this is where mindset is really key. So we focus on mindset a lot in the Bookkeeper Academy, because the first step to getting results is that you have to believe in yourself. The biggest obstacle that our students have, it's not marketing, it's not learning how to do bookkeeping, it's their own limiting beliefs on what they believe is possible for them. So as we go through this webinar, I want to show you guys all of these results that you can have, but I want you guys to practice imagining these results for yourself, kind of like, if you will, visualize them and see if you can truly believe this kind of stuff happening for you, and if you can actually accomplish it for your family. So we have the exact path to reaching all of your goals, and we will help you overcome any obstacles that come your way, whether it's an actual physical obstacle, like with one of your clients, or a mental obstacle in your own mind holding you back. We actually have 2 calls every single week called Overcoming What's Blocking You, and it really helps you kind of like break down any beliefs or barriers that you have, that may be like sabotaging your own success. And that's really, really helpful to start and end the week with that. But to keep our mindset also on the right track, we start with our goals. We have our goals pinned up next to our computer. We know why we're doing this, and we stick to that. We keep that fresh in our minds all the time. So I highly recommend, as we go through this, you guys write your goals down and put them up on your desk or on your fridge or on your computer as well, so you can see them and walk by them all the time. So let's determine what those are so that I can show you a roadmap of how to reach them and a timeline for how quickly you guys can do that. That way you can walk away from this call with complete clarity on what to expect as you move forward with starting your bookkeeping business. So first, we're going to go over financial goals, because really without money, you really can't accomplish any of your other goals. So we have to get over any money blocks too, and decide, what do you want to make? And is there anything holding you back there? And then we're going to talk about your time goals. How much do you want to work? And what is your preferred schedule that you want to hold? And then we'll touch on location goals. Where do you want to work from? Do you want to work from home? Do you have a desire to travel? So we're going to dive into these. So drop a thumbs up in the chat if you are ready to dive into your goals and get started with this. And hello, Crystal. Good to see you back on here. All right, so we're going to start with financial goals. And what I do is put these into 3 different goals at first. As you grow your bookkeeping business, you're always going to have another goal and another goal and another goal. So these goals are going to like build to I call it like a goal ladder, right? So we're going to go over these goals and think about your goal number 3 is going to be the top of your ladder. This is the top rung of your ladder. So this financial goal 1 that we're going to start with, this is the bottom rung, okay? So when you're thinking about this, don't go straight for the stars yet. Let's break these down into smaller, manageable chunks. And we're at the bottom rung of your goal ladder, okay? So this one is what I call the bare minimum requirement. So this is a basic goal you would want to hit to give yourself, confidence that you're on the right path, basically establishing proof of concept for this business for you. So I know, most times when people start, they're like, I'm going to do this. But in the back of their mind, they're like, is this really going to work? And once you hit that first bare minimum goal, that's what usually tells people like, ooh, I'm onto something. So that's what I want you guys to think of. What would be your bare minimum goal? I'll give you an example. For me, back in 2015, I was making about $3,500 per month after taxes at my CPA job. But I had just had my third child and I didn't want to put her in daycare. So we decided to splurge and get a nanny. Could barely afford the nanny, but I couldn't help it. I didn't want her to go to daycare. So the nanny cost about $1,500 per month. And so really there, my total net pay was about 2,000 bucks a month. So I knew if I quit my job and I got clients that paid me at least $2,000 a month, that I would be no better off, no worse off than having my job. So that was my first goal. Obviously, I wanted more than that. That was my bottom rung for my goal ladder, right? But I knew if I did that, then I would be fine for a while. So that was my goal number one, my bare minimum goal. And for you, it could be different. It could be something else, and it's totally personal preference for everybody. But I'd love for you guys to type in the chat, what is that ballpark number that you would want to make in your bookkeeping business that would allow you to start pivoting away from whatever undesirable situation that you're currently in. So type that in the chat. All right, 5,500 for Valerie, 7,000 for Anthony, 5,000 for Kara, 2,000 for Relitza, 5K, 10K for David, 2,800. All right, awesome. Okay, so financial goal number two, this one is what I consider the next, rung on the ladder. This is where you're feeling a little bit more comfortable and content. This is where you're worry-free, not having to worry about budgeting every penny, not having to worry about checking grocery prices maybe. I don't know. It's different for everybody. For my family, back in 2015, it was around $5,000 to $6,000 per month, because at that time, it would have allowed me to cover all of our basic monthly commitment expenses. So I could cover all of our bills, which then allowed us to start reaching some of our lifestyle goals, like my husband being able to quit his job. So obviously, with me being able to get to that point and him quitting his job, I wasn't content there, because now, we were back to where we were without his salary and I wanted more money. But this was at least like my next goal. If I could get here, he could quit his job and then I can work on my next goal, right? So type in the chat, what do you think for you guys? What would your goal number two be? That would be the next rung on your ladder. So 5,000, 10, 10, 10. Okay, awesome. 12,000 for David. Great. Okay. And then we've got our financial goal three. This is what I like to call as a wow goal. So as of right now, your goal ladder only has three rungs because you're new and it's going to grow as you grow your business. But this would be like the top of the rung right now. So if you could start reaching some of your family's financial goals, bucket list items, things like that, what do you think you actually need to bring in each month to really start making those things a reality? So for one of the things for me, I used to watch my boss take like 2 and 3 week long trips. He would travel down to Sedona and up to Estes Park, Colorado, and he went to Italy for 3 weeks one time. And I was so jealous of that. I mean, not only did I not have vacation time, but I didn't have the money to do those things. And so when I started my business, I realized I have the flexibility and freedom to do it now, but I need the money to do it. So how much do I need to make to be able to do that? That was my ultimate goal. So really, I came up with I needed to make at the time at least $10,000 a month to be able to start doing some of those things. We live in the Midwest. It's not super expensive here. So that allowed me to not only cover all my bills and everything and take care of the family, but put a lot away for vacations. It allowed us to not have to worry about budgeting. We could take those family vacations. We were able to buy a brand new car. And then we eventually were able to get a new house with a pool, which is really awesome. So type in the chat, what would be goal number three for you guys? Relitza would get 10,000 a month and have her husband leave their job. Awesome. David's at 15, Valerie's at 20. 20 for Shannon. Awesome. 15 for Brenda. Great. You guys have awesome goals. I love that a lot of your goals are really high too, because it's so doable and easy to get to these points. It does take work. I'm not going to lie to you guys about that. It takes work to get to these points, but it is so doable. Um, I have a podcast and I'll drop some of those links in here where I've interviewed lots of students. And I love talking about Kaylee because when Kaylee started our program back in 2019, she was 23 and she was a pharmacy technician making about 17 bucks an hour. She'd never done bookkeeping, all that kind of stuff. I don't even think she I don't think she finished a college degree or anything. I think she just went to pharmacy school, but she started our program, went all in on becoming a bookkeeper. And since then, she has not only retired her husband, gotten to stay home with her kids, but she's been able to grow her bookkeeping business to where last year I know they were hitting $40,000 in reoccurring revenue per month. And this whole time she's been able to stay home. She's gone to Jamaica with my husband and I twice with our tropical mastermind. And it's just incredible. She's like almost 27 now and has a $500,000 bookkeeping business. And she had no training in this at all. So I love that you guys have these big goals because it's exciting. We usually, if you have big goals, we see people come in and they actually work really, really hard, which is awesome because you guys can totally accomplish all of these things for your family, which is awesome. It's so cool. Okay, but we'll pause talking about money just for a second because I want to talk about your time and schedule goals because as you guys know, you can't get your time back. So time is important, right? Especially if you guys have little kids at home. I always felt like this really huge sense of urgency to spend, lots of time with my kids because they're only little once, right? So curious about what is your, current career time investment. So I want you guys to think about all of the hours per week that you currently include into your career. So count, commute, any time that you're away from family, all that jazz. So for me, I worked through my lunch and I only worked about 5 minutes away. So I was really only gone about 40 hours a week. So it was a typical normal full-time job that I had. But my husband, Sean, he was commuting to downtown Kansas City every day. He was fighting traffic. Oftentimes he got stuck having to work late. So he was gone about 60 hours per week from the family every single week. So I'd like for you guys to calculate up how many hours per week that you're currently working and that you're away from family and type that in. What is your current time investment into your career? And if you happen to be unemployed or happen to be a stay-at-home parent right now, let's say you want to make, five, six, seven, $8,000 per month. How much would you have to work to do that? So 50 hours, 40 to 45, 35, 50 to 60, work from home and still have to put in 50 to 60. Yeah. 45, 20, 50 to 60, 20. Okay. So, in a perfect scenario, though, how many hours per week would you prefer to work? So, let's say, you can reach your wow goal in your business and you can choose your own schedule because, hey, maybe you're deciding to build a team or something and you don't have to work 40 or 50 or 60 hours a week. How much would you prefer to work? Assuming that you do have to work some. So, 20 to 30, 15 to 20, 20 hours max. 40, 25. Awesome. And this is totally different for everybody. Some people are, willing to put in a lot more work so they can keep growing and growing. And other people, want to start these businesses so they can have more time freedom. And I'll tell you, it's great because you can change depending on the season that your life is in. So, when I got pregnant with the twins, I pulled way back and I did the bare minimum and I was working like 18 hours a week or something very minimal, just to keep all of my current clients happy. And I decided, I'm not going to do any marketing. I'll take on a new client if they fall in my lap, which they did. But I still got to pull back. And then, after the twins started, were weaning off of nursing and they started to be a little bit more self-sufficient. And I actually was able to hire like a nanny to come to our house and help us. Then I decided to, pick up my marketing and go from there. And actually, that's when I started the academy as well. But so you can decide and it can ebb and flow and it doesn't have to be, I'm going to work 40 hours a week for the rest of my life. You can say, well, for the next 6 months, I'm going to work 40 hours a week. And then after that, I'm going to work 20. So it's great because you can decide, you get to pick and you can change it, which is really cool. Um, so also keep in mind, bookkeeping business is super flexible. So you're going to get to choose this flexibility, but also get to choose the time of day and the day of week that you work, and you can change it up from week to week as well. So it's super flexible. But I'll show you guys a little bit more about how that works here on an upcoming slide too. So lastly, one thing that is important to a lot of people is location freedom goals. So what is your current workspace? Where do you prefer to work? Do you want to work from home? Maybe an RV? Maybe you want to be able to travel and visit family across the country or overseas. Maybe you have some travel plans. You want to take more vacations and trips that you can't do because of current restrictions from your job. So type in the chat, where do you guys want to work from? Home, home, home and home. I like that. Home or RV. Continue working from home and traveling. Home and travel. Love it. Love it. And then this is always fun too if you have any additional goals that you have for yourself or your family that you'd like to achieve. They can be like debt payoff, house, buying a house, investing. I'm going to read you guys an example of a student that joined our program back in 2019 at the beginning, what she was able to accomplish with some debt payoff just with her business. So let's check this out. This is from a student named Jara. She said, hello, everybody. I want to share an amazing win of mine, and I hope it lifts and encourages you to know that you can do it. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I homeschool my 4 kids. My husband graduated chiropractic school with around $175,000 of debt, and we were just squeezing by to pay all expenses on top of the ever-crushing school loan. I had worked full time up until I had my kids, and though I enjoy being a mother, I always wanted to get back into the work field, even just for a day or two. I tried looking for part time jobs, but $9 an hour or less. I didn't get a higher education, so making more was out of the question without going back to school. She says, I researched and followed several groups, school programs, and even tried to get into marketing. She says, which I was awful at, ironically, ended up being a limiting belief that she had for herself. And someone had mentioned Tiffany's group, and though I didn't have bookkeeping experience, I really enjoyed finances and problem solving. Of course, with things being tight, I worried that we would spend the money and I wouldn't see a return. I contemplated for a couple days, and my husband encouraged me to just go for it. One of the best decisions we have made. I joined summer of 2019 and opened in October of 2019. It took me 3 months to land my first client. It has had its ups and downs, but I'm so glad I decided to take that chance. Fast forward to now, I have 25 monthly clients as well as contract work for a CPA. I have 3 part-time employees, and I put in roughly 20 to 40 hours a week. I do this all from home. She says, I still homeschool my kids, take vacation days, and schedule things on my time. I put in a lot of evening hours so I can spend the day with my kids. Are you ready for the big news? She says, we paid off our loans, a 30-year loan in less than 5 years, and the majority was paid in 2020 and 2021. We are now saving up a down payment to build our dream home, which I will certainly share pics once it comes together. I make more per hour than my husband, and he took 8 years of school, and I took Tiffany's program for a small fee. I'm also not capped at what I can earn. I'm not limited to how many hours I can work. I can contract out, hire more employees, and continue to grow as big as I want. The sky's the limit. I'm just so happy I stumbled upon this group. Thank you to Tiffany for making it possible for this mom to dream big. So really, really cool. Not only were they able to pay off a massive amount of debt, specifically with her bookkeeping business, but she ended up, after this whole thing, making more than her husband. And she got to work from home while she homeschooled her kids. So pretty incredible. What do you guys think about that? Put a thumbs up in the chat if you think that is pretty incredible to do. But one thing that I did when I celebrated my 1-year anniversary in my bookkeeping business, in June of 2016, we bought a brand new van. I got approved for this as our bookkeeping business was our sole and only source of income at the time. And then we got approved for that. It was a $45,000 van, and we actually ended up paying it off within about 6 months. And this was just with our bookkeeping business money only. And for fun fact, we drive that car still today. We also took that van and we took a 16-day vacation across the country. So I got to actualize and realize my dream of doing what my boss did and being able to travel around and experience, the world. So we stopped in Estes Park, Colorado. I went hiking. We did the beach at Mission Beach, California, and then we stopped at the Grand Canyon before coming home. And the great thing about bookkeeping is that typically for most of your clients, you're going to have monthly rolling deadlines, which is really awesome because that gives you flexibility of when to do the work over an entire 30-day time span. So for us, I took my laptop on this vacation, but I just did the bare minimum. So it allowed me to be super present the entire time I was on this trip. And then when I got home, I just got caught up on the bookkeeping. So as long as you're able to get it all done, after the end of the month closes, then you're good and you can travel around. So you don't have to do it every day or even every single week. You could have, every month you could have a week off, which is really cool. So another thing that we did too is in 2018, we used our bookkeeping business income to buy a new house. After we had the twins, we wanted a little bit more room and we wanted a house with a pool. We couldn't install a pool at the place we were living at because of some zoning restrictions. So we decided to get a new house, and we didn't even realize this was possible. But with our bookkeeping business, we were able to get approved for this house. It was a $412,000 house. And I remember being really shocked, even though I had had my bookkeeping business for like a little over 3 years. I was able to actually get approved for a mortgage and double the size of our house with simply that as our only source of income, which is incredible. So I'm curious, what are some of the items that you guys would like to accomplish, when you start your business? Some big ticket stuff. Do you want to pay off debt, travel, upgrade your house? Like, what are some of those things? And Anthony would love to do a road trip with the kids. Yes. Yes. Ralitza wants to buy a house, pay off debt, upgrade house, allow husband to leave retail job, travel more, time with kids and wife is my goal, more time with them. Love that. Pay off husband's student homes, travel, leave corporate job, upgrade house. Love it. These are great. I love all these things. And you guys can accomplish every single one of those. And that's a perfect segue into me showing you diving into the roadmap now. So we're going to talk about exactly how a bookkeeping business can help you reach those goals and give you the exact roadmap to getting there. So you have complete clarity on what this process looks like and the timeline on how quickly you can reach these various goals we just talked about. Again, this webinar is going to be recorded and we'll send you guys a recording, but stick with me if you can through this so I can answer any question that you have and help you get in line for the funding. So the first thing that I want to go over is average time it takes our students to reach various levels of consistent, reoccurring, and dependable monthly income in their bookkeeping business. Now, there's several ways you can earn income in your business, but those other ways like cleanup jobs, commission income, maybe payroll and sales tax income, there's something that's not as consistent. It varies from client to client and student to student. So this is a conservative, realistic picture of the time frame you can expect with consistent monthly bookkeeping fees that your clients are going to pay you. So if you decide to stop marketing and you don't add another single client to your business once you reach these milestones, then this money is still going to be coming in every single month. So that's one thing that's great about a bookkeeping business, because once you get these clients, they stay with you for months and months and years. So you'll be able to count on this probably more so than you count on your paycheck right now. And I'm going to also show you guys on an upcoming slide how you can actually make even more money with those other like new client sign-on fees and things like that. But what we really need to start with is like, where is the consistent, repeatable income that you guys can count on? Because this is the thing that I feel like is the best for parents. Because if you ever decide, hey, I want to stop marketing, I want to just, coast for a while, you don't have to worry because this money is going to be coming in every single month, which is really awesome. So, what we typically see from our students on average is that they add about $1,000 of monthly income to their business every month they are in business. So, let's say you want to make about $2,000 per month, then it usually takes around 2 months or so to get there. So, if you started today, by beginning middle of March, you could easily be at the $2,000 monthly reoccurring rate. Which is really awesome. And we are in tax season. Tax season is officially started, and we always see our students getting clients faster during, January through April, and then again in like August, September, October for that second tax season. So you can actually go past these goals too during this time frame. Now, this chart shows what our average student can achieve. And this average student is typically somebody that works full time and also has little kids at home. So that's kind of the pace you can expect if you're able to put in like 1 to 2 hours per day on working on your business, with specifically about 30 to 60 minutes of that devoted to marketing only. So that's kind of the game plan, and that's how you will get here. So this pace can go a lot quicker for you if you're able to put in more time at the front end just to get some momentum with your marketing. Um, and of course, depending on your goals and how quickly that you want to grow. So this chart is, an average. It could happen faster for you. It could happen just like this. It could happen a little slower. But on average, this is kind of what it's like. And I like having this baseline too, because when you guys get into the academy and you start working through the plan, you need to be tracking your efforts, right? And by the time you get to month 2, see where you're at. Are you close to this? Are you too far away, or are you ahead of it? And that way it'll alert you like, do I need to be doing something different? Do I need to be getting feedback from them? Am I hitting these milestones the way that I expected to? And if not, why is that? And that's where you come to us and be like, hey, I thought I would be at $3,000 per month by right now, but I'm at 1,500 or 2,000 or whatever. And so we then look at it. What's going on with your marketing? Did you stop your marketing because you got your first few clients and now you've got to ramp that back up? So we'll help you understand what that timeline is and the expectations, and figure out what that's going to be based on your own personal goals as well, which is really cool. But if you take a look at this chart, if you guys invest the down payment of that $640 even to get into the academy, and you're making those monthly payments to the lender, even just within a couple, 2, 3 months, you're already going to have like 3 times as much coming in from your bookkeeping business that is required for that monthly payment. So you're already going to be bringing in profit for your family, even after making that investment. So if anybody wants to go ahead and do that, I'll go ahead and put uh, the funding stuff in here. There's a US based link and a Canadian link, depending on where you're from. If you're in the UK, unfortunately, we don't have funding for that. But if you guys want to check it out, you can. Just FYI, if you apply for funding, make sure you have the $640 available, because the lender moves really fast and they approve everyone. So when they get your application, they're going to ask you to book a call, and they're going to ask you to make the $640 payment. So you'll want to apply if you think you're going to have that payment in the next, now or within the next week. Otherwise, we'll just keep in contact with you until you're ready. So I want to show you guys in terms of like monthly clients or monthly income, how many clients are you going to need at these various milestones? So approximately, this chart is based on like super small clients. So for my first goal of $2,000 a month, I knew I would only need approximately 4 super small clients. Now, the reason I knew that is because I worked in a CPA firm, and I did the bookkeeping for the firm. So I knew what my boss charged. And so I knew how many clients I would need at that monthly rate to be able to get that first milestone of $2,000 per month. So for me, in my first goal, I needed 4. And this again is assuming every client is rather small. So this is a range. Our students oftentimes get clients that are bigger and that they charge higher fees because we base it on how big they are, what's their annual revenue. And so if you get a bigger client, you're able to charge them more, then obviously you're going to need less clients to reach your milestone, right? So for example, Kim got a client last December that was paying her $21.97 per month. So instead of 4 clients at that first milestone, she only needed 1. When I had my bookkeeping business and I was making $20,000 per month, the chart here says approximately 40 small clients. I actually only had 33. So just to give you guys like what a feel for what the typical range might be. So now I want you guys to look at this chart and then look at your very first goal, the very first goal that you have for yourself, your financial goal number 1, the bare minimum one, and type in the chat, how many clients do you need to hit that first goal? So type that in the chat for me. 10, 6, 16, 10, 4, 10 to 15. Awesome. 10. All right. So it looks like we need on the lower end 4, high end 16. So anywhere from like 4 to 16-ish right now. So I want you guys to check out this potential client pool. So I know a lot of people were saying, well, what if I don't find clients? Well, this chart is a picture of how many small businesses there are in the US. Now that 2023 is over, I need to update this chart, but this is from 2017 to 2022. And in 2022, there were 33.2 million small businesses in existence. And as you can see from this chart, it goes up every year. In fact, there's over 500,000 small businesses starting up every single month. And bookkeepers and CPAs are retiring in droves, and there's no one to replace them because there's been a huge decline in people interested in getting accounting degrees, probably because of the low pay and long hours during tax season. But there's clients literally everywhere, everywhere. There's never going to be a shortage of potential clients for you, even just factoring in the number of new businesses that pop up every month. So tons of fish in the sea. And even no matter how many people I enroll into my bookkeeper academy, there's never going to be enough bookkeepers out there to help everybody. But it also helps that bookkeeping is a required service. It's not a luxury item that you have to try and convince someone to purchase. Most business owners, they already know that they need to get their bookkeeping done. They already understand the value of it because you can't get loans for your business. You can't file your taxes. You can't make good business decisions or plan without your bookkeeping done beforehand because you need those clean, clear financials to rely on for those things. So they already understand the importance of bookkeeping and they already know that they need it. And so to find a client and then even get them to say, yeah, I want to sign on for bookkeeping services is really relatively easy. Of course, I'm going to show you guys all about that on an upcoming slide. But I would like you guys to type a yes in the chat if you feel like, based on this potential client pool and how many clients there are out there, that reaching your first goal of maybe like 4 or 10 or 15 clients is going to be doable. So type a yes if you feel like, yeah, I think it is doable. Once I learn how to do marketing, I can see how it would be doable. All right, great. Lots of yeses. Fantastic. So my next slide is my favorite one of the entire presentation. This one is the expected time commitment you need to complete the bookkeeping work for clients at various income levels. So I've kind of alluded to this a little bit at the beginning, but this is the main reason why I started my bookkeeping business and the reason I started the academy to help other parents have more time back with their kids. So for my first goal of $2,000 per month, I knew that I would only have to work 4 hours per week to complete the bookkeeping work for those clients. So the reason I knew that again was because I worked in a CPA firm and I did the bookkeeping for my clients or for my boss's clients. I saw how much he charged them, but I knew how long it took me to do the bookkeeping work. So I knew if I could just go out and find 4 of these clients on my own, that I would only have to work about 4 hours a week and still net take home the same amount as I'm working for my boss for 40 hours a week. So I essentially was saving 36 hours every single week by starting my own bookkeeping business instead of doing bookkeeping for my boss. So I want you guys to look at this, and I want you to do a little bit of math here. So type in the chat how many hours per week you would save if you pivoted away from your job right now and you did a bookkeeping business. Let's say you're going to make exactly the same, but I'm curious, by looking at this chart, how much would you save per week in time? And, pro tip, this is the only kind of math you'll ever really have to do. And you can use a calculator. So you don't even have to be good with numbers or with math to be a good bookkeeper and make a lot of money in your bookkeeping business. So we've got 20 to 30 hours saved, 35 to 40 hours saved, 30 to 40 hours saved, 36 hours, 30 hours, 35, 30. Oh my gosh. So you guys are all saving almost like full-time jobs. That's incredible. So imagine that for a minute. If you had all that time back, you could spend it with your family, pick up a hobby, enjoy life more, maybe even reinvest some of that back into your business so you can hit goal 2 and 3, start knocking some of those items from your bucket list. Even at your wow goal of $10,000 per month, you still only need to work about 20 hours per week. And that's just to do the bookkeeping work. So if you guys choose to do, marketing or other things like that, that will take up different time. But at any time you're like, nope, I'm good, I'm going to stay here. This is how long it takes you to do the bookkeeping work and service and do a really good job for your clients, which is awesome. And again, better yet, you can work those hours whenever and however you choose. You can work in the morning before the kids wake up, late at night, on the weekends. You can work on Mondays and Tuesdays only. It's completely flexible and totally up to you. And you can even change it from week to week, whatever you feel like doing. So here's a little recap slide. If you guys want to take a screenshot of that, you're welcome to. It's kind of got all those the slideshows with all the data combined on here. So I'm curious at this point, a lot of people are always like, yeah, they're fired up. This sounds really, really, really great. And they really want to do it. And then the doubt starts to creep in, like, this sounds too good to be true. How come this works out this way? And so I'm curious if you're feeling that way right now. Do you feel like, I don't understand how this works? How does this high money, low time business things work? Bye, Crystal. Yes, how? So I'm going to break it down for you guys. Before I do that, I'm curious, is anybody on this call a business owner yet? Or is everybody leaving corporate jobs and working a W-2 job right now? Is anybody a business owner? So David, you say, no, I see it all the time. Do you mean that you understand how this works? Oh, Angela, you're working as a bookkeeper. I love it. Franchise owner with crumble cookies. Very cool, Terry. Okay, great. So we got some business owners on here. So you guys should understand this a little bit more. Now, every business has a different level of profitability. So some of you guys may be into businesses that have a slim profit margin. If you guys Google Forbes.com, they have an article out there that says, what are the top most profitable businesses that you can run? And bookkeeping and accounting firms are in the top 3, which is really, really cool. So sometimes even when I do talk to business owners, they haven't achieved these results in their business because of the industry that they're in. So could be like, this could be a really great side thing for you to do to help supplement or to transition over, or, have 2 businesses going. So that'd be kind of cool too. That's awesome, David. You got your accounting degree. Love that. So I'm going to dive into what makes these results possible, and like how thinking like a business owner instead of as an employee and looking at it from that perspective helps this really make sense and helps you understand it. So let me break this down for you guys so you really have full clarity on it. So there's a few key pillars that really make these results possible. One of the first and most important steps is proper quoting. So obviously you want to learn and understand how to charge your clients. You want to make sure you're not undercharging or undervaluing your services. This is an important skill to develop. There's a lot of factors that go into quoting. It's kind of like a little bit of an art. And in the Bookkeeper Academy, we help our students a lot with quoting because that's the biggest piece, right? If you underquote someone, let's say, well, I'll give you an example. Sylvia was in our program and she had like 4 or 5 clients that she had already gotten since she joined our program, but then she got this new lead, and this lead was in the construction industry. And she hadn't worked in that industry yet. But there are a handful of industries that we actually recommend you charge a little bit more than normal because they can be a little bit more um, involved to work with them, and construction is one of them. So she used our proprietary quoting tool, which you'd have access to in the academy, to come up with a basic fee. But this client was wanting a few extra services, and it wasn't something that was like normal for most businesses. So she brought it to one of our coaching calls, and she asked our coach, Vanessa, and she said, the quoting tool suggests that I charge $500 a month, but they're wanting me to do, these extra things. And so our coach, having experience working in the construction industry, said, based on these extra things, I would actually quote them $1,000 a month to do all of these things. So she was a little bit nervous, but she went back to her client. She proposed $1,000 monthly fee. He said yes, and she went on her merry way with doing the work. Now, a couple things to point out there. Number one, if she would have charged $500 a month, she would have still been doing the same amount of work. So if you take $500 divided by however long it's going to take her, you're going to get an hourly rate, right? But now if you take $1,000 a month and divide it by those same hours, your hourly rate's going to go way up. And that's how that kind of works. So if you underquote, you're going to be working hard, you're creating a job for yourself. If you quote correctly, then you're going to be able to easily make $100 an hour or more in your bookkeeping business, which is what we help you do. The other thing I want to point out there too is just one single conversation with our coach in the Bookkeeper Academy got her an extra $500 a month. So I want to share this with you. So $500 per month more just by talking to our team. That is an extra 6 grand per year that she's going to make with this client. Let's say she keeps this client for 5 years, which when I sold my business, I had it for 4 years, and almost everybody that I got in that first year was still with me. So very likely she could have this client for 5 years. So that one interaction got her a $30,000 potentially over the course of 5 years of return on investment there, or like additional, funds, which is really cool. And now she knows if she gets another construction client, really what to, think about when she goes into quoting. So proper quoting is really, really important. We help you guys really get a handle on how to do that. So that way you're not creating a job for yourself. You are creating freedom. You're creating a business. The other thing that goes hand in hand with that, though, is understanding the importance of doing the work in an efficient way. So if you don't have a really good process of how to do the bookkeeping and how to get through the cleanup jobs and the monthly work, then you might take a lot longer to do it than the average bookkeeper, which then of course, right, if you have more hours into something and you divide that out of the monthly fee, then you're going to make less per hour. So we help you work out what does that efficient workflow look like so that you can maintain a minimum of $100 per hour on all of your clients. So we help you with that. And a couple things that we do to also like really make sure that you continue to protect that profit margin is working on things that we call scope creep. So over time, your clients are going to love you. They're going to like start to depend on you as like, part of their business. And so they'll ask you other things. Hey, can you help with this? Do you know anything about this? And of course, when you're in our academy, you can ask us and then we'll give you information so you can help your clients. But over time, if they ask you to do more and more things and you don't readjust your quote, then eventually your hourly rate is going to go down because you're doing more work for the same price. So we help our students set proper expectations and boundaries around that, help them avoid scope creep by, properly requoting when necessary, and learning how to have those conversations with their clients without, feeling awkward or upsetting them. So when you have proper quoting, you have efficient workflow, you set really great boundaries, that's how you're able to make a minimum of $100 per hour in your business. And now your clients are going to be paying you a fixed fee. They have no idea how much you're making. So you don't have to try to sell the $100 per hour thing. You just sell them into a fixed price and say, I'm going to do your bookkeeping and here's what you're going to get for it, which is really awesome. So those two things, go hand in hand with actually making $100 an hour. But on top of that, we want you to do it in these ways because we're going to be helping you build your business with the end in mind. So a lot of times when people start businesses, they start with the idea of like, I just need to make some side cash, or I just need to get out of this corporate job, or something like that. They're not thinking about, how do I want my business to be set up in 5 years from now or 10 years from now? But we do. We know what you're going to want. And so we help coach you and teach you how to start your business from day one, considering everything that you're going to wish you would have known by the end of 5 years or 10 years or 20 years from now. So the reason we have you do it this way is because there's reasons later on you're going to wish you could go back in time and kick yourself and do it this way. So we're just going to have you do it this way right from the beginning. And one of those things is making sure that you are profitable if you ever want to hire somebody in the future. So most people don't think about that when they start a business, that they're going to build this big giant team. I didn't. I was thinking about, how could I spend more time with my daughter, right? So when you are putting things into place like this, and it sets things up to where you can then eventually decide, hey, I want to hire somebody so I can work less, but still make a lot of money and be able to keep onboarding more people. And when you want to do that, we don't want you to have to completely change your entire business model to be able to do that. So we're going to help you build all these processes, the quoting, the workflow, all that stuff right from the beginning. So that way, if you ever do want to hire employees, you're already going to have everything in place to do that and still be really profitable. So I want to share this with you. My cat is climbing on my desk. Come on, kitty. If you look back at this chart that we were looking at a while back, and you go down to the very bottom, if you want to work 40 hours per week in your business, you can make $20,000 per month with bookkeeping clients. That's kind of the amount that you can make if you want to work a solid full-time schedule. But think about that in terms of, you want to hire somebody. I'm going to let my cats out of this room. All right, guys, everybody get out. Get out, you silly cats. If you want to hire somebody to do that for you and actually be a full-time employee in your business, they can handle the workload for clients that total $20,000 per month. But the going rate for a full-time bookkeeper or accountant is $3,500 to $4,500 per month. So I'm curious, Angela, you work as a bookkeeper. Is that about in line with what you make? Do you make about $3,500, $4,500 per month as take-home pay in your degree? That's what I was making. So if you have, let's say you want to pay your employees really, really well, let's say $5,000. And Angela says take home is less. As you guys can see, it's even less than that. So this is what Angela's boss is profiting. So I'm teaching you guys right now how to be Angela's boss. And Angela, I'm teaching you how to be your own boss. You're going to be your boss, right? So your boss is getting $20,000 per month for bookkeeping, paying you $3,000, per month. So all that extra is profit. Let's say that you want to be a really awesome boss and you want to pay your full-time employee $5,000. You're still going to profit $15,000 per month in your bookkeeping business. So you'll still be able to have all of that money for your family, and have that work-life balance that you still want, and be able to still bring in a lot of money even as you continue to grow and hire team members. So let me work this out for you guys too, because I love showcasing this. Let's say you guys want to have $1 million business, type in the chat, yes, if you would love to one day have $1 million bookkeeping business. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So that is divided by 12. That's $83,000 per month. Okay. That's how much bookkeeping revenue that you would need to be generating or bringing in every single month. $83,000. Now, if you have a full-time employee that handles $20,000 per month, let's see how many full-time employees that you would need to not have to do any of the bookkeeping work yourself for your $1 million business. So divide that by 20,000. That gets you about 4.16 full-time employees. So you need a full-time employee and then probably a part-time one. So if you take that, and let's say we're going to pay all of these employees on average $5,000 per month, that's $20,833 per month in payroll costs. So we'll multiply that out by the 12 months for the whole year. Your total payroll for the whole year in your $1 million bookkeeping business is $250,000. So obviously that's going to give you a profit of money you get to keep as the business owner of $750,000. And there's not a whole lot of other expenses with a bookkeeping business. The overhead is little to none. So really, really cool that you can still be able to make a lot of money even as you grow your team. And that's why people get into these businesses. That's why Angela has a job, because her boss wants this, right? Or is getting this. And there's no reason why you guys can't have this too. It's very easy to do. You can have it. So really exciting stuff there. But also, we're going to be helping you build this business with the end in mind, because if you set it up this way, you are basically building yourself an internal retirement plan. So these businesses are very sellable. I don't know. I think that's the word. They're sellable. So maybe you aren't even thinking about that at all, but like in 5, 10, 20 years down the road, you may get in a situation where it makes sense to sell your bookkeeping business. So when I started the Bookkeeper Academy, I have 5 kids. My twins were only like 2. And to juggle 2 businesses, it just wasn't something that I wanted to do. But I really had some passion around starting the Bookkeeper Academy and thought that was going to be really awesome. And so my original plan was, I'm going to start the academy, juggle both businesses, and maybe just slowly start letting some of my clients go. And as I focus on the academy. And then my teenager at the time, he's always been into like business and passive income and things like that. He's like, why don't you sell your business? And I was like, that is a great idea. If I sell my business, then I have this nest egg of money in my account. And then I can start the academy and just only have to focus on that. And so that's actually what I did. And it made me realize how attractive these businesses are to potential investors. So when you sell your business, you're going to get a multiple of revenue. And the multiple goes up as your business gets bigger. So for example, let's say you have a small business where you're making $200,000 a year like me. You can sell your business for 1 times revenue. So approximately $200,000. If you have a larger business, let's say you keep growing it until you're making $1 million a year, you could potentially sell your business for 2 times revenue. I have a friend that has $1 million bookkeeping firm, and she was offered 2.2 million for someone to buy her business, which is really cool. And of course, the bigger you get, the bigger the multiple. But what's great about that is this is like a built-in retirement plan for you. I have several students that I've been working with that literally started this business so they could grow it as big as possible and then sell it and then retire, which is really cool. So her and her husband can go travel the world in retirement. The reason that they are so attractive to potential buyers or investors is for like 3 reasons. One, there's consistent, dependable, reoccurring income. And so all those monthly fees coming in every single month, there's something they can count on. So if a person comes in, buys your business, and you phase out of it, they don't have to worry about coming in and trying to immediately grow it. They can coast for a while because they've got this money coming in. They also love the fact that there is a high profit margin even after building a team. So as you guys saw, potentially could have like a $750,000 profit on $1 million business. That's huge. This is what I was talking about earlier. Some of you guys have businesses lots of businesses out there are great businesses to do, but a lot of them have very small profit margins. I once had a coach, more like a colleague, who told me that I should be aiming for a 10% profit. And I was like, oh boy, no, no. I aim for a 50% profit at least in my businesses. And I would never even do a business that's not going to get me at least that, because you're going to work just as hard no matter what business that you have. So why not work hard and then get a lot more money for it? So that's what I like. Yeah, Terry says her overhead with Crumble is very high. Yes, it's very high, especially because you don't need an office space with this, which eliminates a ton of overhead right there, which is really, really cool. But when you have businesses with smaller overheads, you have to have way more customers too. That's the other thing, because then your profit can be bigger if you've got a huge volume of customers. With your bookkeeping business, you don't need that many customers to be able to still have a lot of money coming in, which is really awesome. But these investors also like to buy these businesses because after you start building a team, then we can easily pull the owner out of it without the business falling apart. So when an investor comes in and they become a new owner, they can phase you out and everyone will still stay. Why people like to buy bookkeeping businesses. I get an email almost every single month from somebody that says, hey, I am a so and so who likes to buy accounting businesses. Let me give you a quote on yours. And of course, it's like a cold email, so they don't know that I don't personally have a bookkeeping business right now. But there's always people out there looking to buy them. So it's really, really cool. If I ever did anything in my second phase, or actually this would be like my third phase of being a business owner, I would probably go back. I would build up a bookkeeping business to anywhere from like $100,000 to $250,000. Like before you really need a whole lot of employees, I would build it up to that, and then I would sell it, and then I would start over and build it up and sell it and start over, and I would just keep doing that because it is so profitable to do that. Um, what about insurance and benefits for the employees? Yes. So insurance is pretty low. For example, when you have insurance, you're going to have errors and emissions insurance, and you probably want to have a general business policy as well. And both of those things were so inexpensive for me. I think when I had my bookkeeping business, my general business policy was like attached to my homeowner's insurance. And it was like $300 a year or something crazy. It was super cheap. And then the errors and emissions insurance, which is like professional liability. This is like, oh, if you make a mistake on someone's books and they try to sue you, which, can happen. People can sue you for anything. I don't know anyone personally that has ever gotten sued as a bookkeeper, but I will say I'm sure it happens and I'm sure it can happen. So we do recommend you guys have professional liability insurance. That ranges anywhere from like $20 to $40 per month. You don't have to get it until you have your first client. And then it goes up based on how much money you're making. So I think even when I was making $200,000 per year, I was still only paying like $50 a month for my errors and emissions insurance. Now, benefits for employees, that's something that, until you are at least making $1 million a year, maybe more, probably something you're not going to be able to afford. But you can always still have like, little benefits. So even when I was working at the CPA firm, my boss couldn't afford benefits for us either, but he gave us like, I want to say it was like 500 or $1,000 a month, where he did like a stipend for us, where we could then go pay for our own insurance. And there's a lot of things you can do as a business owner to not really need or have to worry about paying corporate health insurance. So we have had a company called Liberty Health Share since we started our bookkeeping business in 2015. And I actually paid less to have a C-section with my twins and stay in the hospital with my twins than with this insurance than I did when I was working a corporate job, had corporate insurance, and had a C-section for my third daughter, my one daughter. I paid less with this company with twins. So there's a lot of workarounds and options for you and your staff if they need health insurance. And we help with those things in the academy too. So as those things actually really come up in your business, you can, reach out to us and we will help you with it. Okay, so I guess before we move on, do you guys feel like understanding all this, it feels more doable, right? Uh, I think I might have already asked that, but I was curious if you guys feel this makes sense. I know exactly like how this works now. It makes a lot of sense. So type in the chat if you're feeling that way. And if you still feel like this sounds too good to be true, let me know what you're thinking. So did the bookkeeping business owners do their own accounting? Yes, typically, yeah. The funny thing is we typically get behind on our own books because we're spending all that time doing it for our clients, right? Okay, here's the kitty. He's annoying me. Okay, it's time to get out, kitty. Sorry. Okay, got one more cat to get out of here. There's a little white one. You gotta go out, buddy. Sorry, baby. Okay. All right. So, and then one thing we haven't really even talked about yet is back work and cleanup opportunities that you have. So far I've been talking about reoccurring consistent income, but did you guys know that like 9 times out of 10, when you get a new client, they're actually looking for bookkeeping services because they haven't done it for months or even years in the past, or they've tried to do it on their own and they've totally messed it up and they need it fixed. So this is a really awesome reason that I love a bookkeeping business, but it's another income opportunity that you have. It's very hard to predict because it's totally different for every client that you get. So I didn't include any of this on the slideshow that I showed you before. Um, oh, sorry, I was trying to like read Erica's thing. But I want to give you guys some examples of what some recent students have accomplished and, maybe what the average is for cleanup jobs for clients. Erica says, what nobody seems to talk about in these calls is the mental load with each client. So, what do you mean, Erica? I'd love to expand on that. I will say, like, everybody's personalities are different, right? So, you can have somebody start a bookkeeping business and be constantly stressed out and overwhelmed. And then you can have another person follow the same steps and be in the academy and start their business and like never be stressed out, right? It's all based on our own personalities. So, yes, some people do struggle with the stress of owning and running their own business. Some people don't. Everybody struggles with different things, which is why we have our overcoming what's blocking you mindset calls twice a week. Because even for me talking to you guys, I have no idea if you're going to be the type of person that is going to freak out at every turn, or if you're going to be the type of person that just lets things roll off your shoulders. Right? It's impossible to know that. And if you have stress with your clients or they're causing you, some kind of like mental load that's taxing you, that's what needs to be addressed. We need to figure out, where is that coming from? What part of your personality is causing those feelings? And then is there an actual thing that needs to be tweaked that can help you address it? Because I totally get it, at every stage when I had my bookkeeping business, there were definitely times where I got super stressed out, but I had no mentor. I had no help. I was guessing with everything. If something happened to me, I didn't know if it was normal or if it was something that I did or I caused. Like I can think of 2 clients that I worked with out of all of my clients in my bookkeeping business that were just horrible. They were just horrible people. And I took it on myself, like, what did I do, But after a while, I realized that you just can't please everybody and it's impossible. But I didn't know that at the time. So I took that as a very stressful thing that happened to me. Had I been in a program where people were supportive and collaborated, and they would have said, you know what, sometimes this happens and sometimes people are jerks, and just cutting them loose and going and finding a better client, like David said, maybe the client isn't a good fit. That's what you got to do. But sometimes when you're doing it by yourself, you don't realize that. So we love to help people manage their individual, mental loads and their stress and figure out, how can we reduce this? Because I will say, like, going through this and having thousands of students, I see people that can handle a lot. like, for example, Jen Beckwith, I'll tell you a little story about her and you can watch her interview on the podcast. She is growing like crazy. Kaylee Douglas, who I told you is like not even 27 yet, and she's making over $40,000 per month. I look at her and I think, man, she just handles this with such grace. And then I see other people in the program that every single day they post like, I'm falling apart. I'm stressed out. I need somebody to help. Everybody's different, right? So like, but this is something that we can help you work on, if you tend to be one of those people that are overly stressed, which I'm not going to lie, I'm like that too. My husband and I talk about this all the time. Like you you can typically push yourself. Like now, like I used to be stressed out at the beginning when I had my bookkeeping business, when I was designing all of this, when I was doing trial and error and figuring out what worked and didn't work, right? Which you guys don't have to do because I have the roadmap for you. But at the beginning, I was having to do that. So I was like really stressed out. But now I have pushed myself so far. I have grown so much as a person that if I went back to like early 2015 when I started that business, I would laugh at myself about how easy that is. Like I'd go back to that in a heartbeat, how easy that was. So it's just kind of like, where you are right now, where you are mentally, maybe what's going on in your personal life too, that can, determine that, how you let people affect you. All of this stuff is like personal growth. And we help with a lot of personal growth in the academy as well. Seem to get myself on the IRS website looking for answers every time the phone rings. I know that's one of the things that stressed me out too, Erica. When I had nobody, even though I have an accounting degree, I passed a CPA exam. I worked for the CPA for 4 years. When I started my own business, you wouldn't believe the amount of questions clients asked me that I didn't know the answer to. That was stressful. And that's why I created the academy, because it sucks to constantly have to research things and research things and research things and research things. And then you have all these answers and you're like, I don't even know if any of these answers are right. That is a horrible feeling. So when you're in the academy, you don't ever have to feel that. So we do most of the research for you. So that way you can just ask us a question and we'll tell you the answer and then we'll teach you why. And then you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry and wonder and second guess and spend and waste a ton of time researching. So I'm really glad you brought that up because I don't usually talk about that too much on these webinars, but it's an important factor, of like why doing this alone can kind of suck, honestly. Valerie says, what I can appreciate what is offered in the academy is that when I do not have an answer, I get stuck in the unknowing. And when I cannot figure it out, I get discouraged. Exactly. I appreciate the one-on-one support offered. It can be stressful as a sole proprietor. It's almost unheard of to have this kind of support without hitting the bottom line. Exactly. So I would like to point that out too, since we're on this subject. One of the things my husband and I talk about a lot is that I've been in a ton of programs. I've been in a bazillion coaching programs. I've hired a bazillion like of the best vendors. And I will say every single time I'm in any of those programs, I always say my students don't have a clue how good they have it because nobody has a program as robust as us. Nobody has support as good as we have it. And nobody cares about their students the way we do. Um, I sometimes wish people would see what goes on behind the scenes and how we're always like trying to help people more and more and improve the program more and more all the time, but it's so true. And until you're in a business owner and until you're in some of those other programs and realize, man, I got so much more support with this one, you don't know because you don't have a baseline. So you guys are jumping in to the best, the Rolls Royce of a program. So right off the gate, which you're lucky that you get to do that. I've gone through a lot of programs that just were not very good. I think rejection can be hard and the criticism of others. I've seen people mock inexperienced bookkeepers. Yes, those people are jerks. You guys don't even know how many people have badmouthed me to the ends of the earth because I want to help new bookkeepers learn this skill. But do you know how many of my students have picked up clients from so-called experienced bookkeepers who have royally screwed up a client's books and we've had to help them fix it? So you just have to ignore those people. And who cares what they think? Some, nasty person on the internet that has a opinion. Most of the people that do post things like that are haters, they don't even have businesses. They don't even have clients and they're just jealous because they can't get them because they're too proud to like get help. And so they've had a bookkeeping business for 20 years and have had 5 clients the whole time. So and I've looked into a lot of those people that have had those comments, and that is true. Like, they're not the successful people that you want to be looking up to. People that are successful, I know a lot of people that are successful accountants and bookkeepers that are classically trained, and then they help people in my program. They support them. They don't talk bad about them. So the ones that are talking bad about people, they're the ones that are just jealous. Anyway, I could talk about that all day. Erica says, I've been doing this alone for three clients for 5 years for one and 2 years for two. I need a mentor. I need to actually get paid for all my time. 2 volunteer and 1 is my husband's. Okay, great. Yeah, absolutely. So if you've already got, some experience doing this, number one, we can help you fine tune your process for these clients. Um, and then learn how to actually bill them and invoice them. And free up some of your time so that you can go out and get other clients that are going to pay you more also as well. So absolutely, we have a lot of students that come in your situation, Erica. So helping you set different expectations for these clients too is going to be a good start for you as well. So I'll give you guys some examples of the cleanup and backwork opportunities. So Kim here, she joined the Bookkeeper Academy last October of 2022. And by the end of her second month, so like around December 16th, she got this new client and it came with a $9,000 cleanup job. So this is the one where I told you she was making $21.97 per month. So she hit that first milestone with her first client instead of needing 4, right? But she also got $9,000 to go back and clean up all of his books for the year. Because again, the previous bookkeeper messed things up. And when we started helping her with the monthly work, we showed her all the things that the bookkeeper did wrong before. And so she was able to go back and propose this $9,000 cleanup job. So by her second month in the Bookkeeper Academy, she made over $11,000. So obviously, if that was a situation that you guys had, you could take that $11,000 and pretty much pay off your Bookkeeper Academy loan investment. You don't have to worry about any of the interest at that point, right? Or you could keep making the monthly payments and you could put that money in savings to cover all of your family expenses for a month or two and go ahead and quit your job so you can go all in on your bookkeeping business, right? There's a lot of different things you could do. If you're happy with working your full-time job and your business, you could take that money and dump it onto debt. Although I feel like if you're really going to go all in on your business, you have the opportunity of making a lot more money. So cutting out your full-time job and focusing fully on this is going to help you reach your goals faster. But just my opinion. Another example is Alicia. She joined our academy last November. And by the end of her first month, she made $7,500 because her first client was a $1,500 monthly reoccurring client, and it came with a $6,000 cleanup job. So literally in her first month, she made $7,500, which was, really, really awesome. She started marketing on December 11th, and she got this first client on December 15th, which was really cool. So like 4 days after the marketing plan. Kim started marketing right away too, and this particular client came from her efforts from step 1 of our social media marketing plan, which is really cool. And then this one is awesome. Jennifer, which I mentioned to you guys a few times on here, she made $32,000 on one client cleanup job. This was her 5th client. She'd only been in our program for about 4 months. And this one signed on for $21.97 per month, and it came with a $32,000 cleanup job. So I interviewed her on my podcast, and she talks about how she broke this out over a 4-month time span. But she, essentially made all of this money in, her first 4 months of being in the program. And that was not even counting her, first, second, third, and fourth client that she got paid for. So because she had 5 clients total. The cool thing too about Jen is that none of these ladies had experience in bookkeeping or accounting or using QuickBooks or anything. Kim is the only one that has had education in accounting, but none of them had experience. And when Jen got into the program, she joined August 12th of 2022. And her first couple of months, she really focused on only working on her mindset. She wasn't sure if she was going to be able to do it, and she was lacking confidence around it. And so we worked on that with her. And then after that, she started to take off and do her marketing. And then boom, 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 boom. She got client one, two, three, four, and then this fifth one. That just sealed the deal for her. She's like, I definitely made the right decision, right? And so she's doing amazing. She's hired several people to help her, and she's just constantly growing and has fallen into a lot of really cool partnerships, which is awesome. So here's kind of a little recap of these ladies. And again, getting a cleanup job anywhere from like $2,000 to $10,000 is pretty common. We actually had two people in our academy in December get $10,000 cleanup jobs, which is really cool. Anything above 10,000 is not really very common. Um, but we do see them from time to time, like Jen got the $32,000 one. Vanessa got a $75,000 cleanup job a while back. I think she might have bundled in some tax work as well. But on average, most of your clients are going to come with a cleanup job, and it'll come anywhere from like $2,000 to $10,000, which is really cool. I love this because it's like a Christmas bonus every time you get a new client. It's amazing. So just so to recap too on, all these ladies, they didn't have experience. They didn't know what they were doing before they came in here, but knowing what to do and having that support and streamlining that effort helped them get these results, right? So what we did is we helped them understand how to conduct a client discovery call. So that way, they would be prepared if somebody was like, hey, I'm interested in your services. We actually give you a script for that. And then we showed them how to actually quote properly for these clients. We have the quoting tool in the academy, and then we also help on our coaching calls of how to actually quote clients. And then from there, we have a template show you how to put together a proposal, and then we show you how to actually present that to the client, be able to explain the value of why they would want to pay you for this, so that way the client easily says yes and comes on board. And then from there, once the client says yes, we show you how to onboard the client. So we have engagement letter templates, how to get the client to sign the engagement letter, how to collect the money from them, and then how to collect the documents that you're going to need to actually do the bookkeeping work. So we show you that whole process and exactly how to do that. And then once you have access to everything, we show you how to break down the cleanup job into a step-by-step process and get through that, and then how to complete the ongoing monthly work as well, because we're going to help you make a minimum of like $100 an hour doing this, right? But most importantly, out of everything, all these things that we show you how to do and all these things that we help these ladies with, we also showed them how to find these clients. And obviously, most of you guys know that is called marketing, right? So I'm really passionate about teaching you guys marketing, because when you learn how to find your own clients, you actually will remain in control of how much money comes into your family and into your life forever. You never have to rely on anyone else ever again to give you money, or, like pray and hope you get a bonus or a raise or something like that. You never have to worry about that again, because you'll know exactly how to do it. So, for example, I had a student named Robin who was in my academy. One of our original students, she lived in Alaska. She homeschooled 5 of her kids. And one time she took her children to the dentist, and one of her daughters needed an $1,800 dental procedure. And she came back home and she was like, I really don't have this in my budget. I'm not sure how we're going to pay for this. And she was like, I'm just going to pick up my marketing again. And so she started following the steps, doing some marketing. And she ended up having a guy that week book a call on her calendar. And she got on the phone with him, and she asked him the questions from our script. She came back, she utilized the quoting information and the quoting support, and she ended up coming up with him needing an $1,800 exact cleanup job. That's what it was suggested that she charge. And she's like, this is insane. I manifested this client and I didn't even realize it. She needed $1,800 for this dental work, and then she ended up turning on her marketing and getting a client that paid her $1,800, and boom, she had the money to do it. I see this happen all the time. It happens to me all the time. It happens to lots of students. But once you know how to do the marketing, you can just make these things happen for your family. So I'm super passionate about teaching you guys how to do it, because then you don't ever have to rely on anybody ever again. And I'm also doing a Sweet Leads program right now that we just closed enrollment on, where I'm actually going to be doing the marketing for some of our students as well. And we're going to be reopening that program again here pretty soon. But I love to teach this because you guys need to know how to do this. So there are three main methods that we teach our students to get clients, and all three methods have been proven to get you to $100,000 in your bookkeeping business, and even if you only do one of them. So we give our students the opportunity to choose. You don't have to do all of these methods if one of them just doesn't resonate with you. If you do all three of them, you're just going to reach your goals faster, which is great. So let me dive into those and you guys let me know if you have any questions on these. The first method we teach is organic social media marketing. So we help you utilize the platforms that you're already familiar with to find and connect with business owners. So for example, you'll use Facebook, Facebook groups, connecting with them, LinkedIn groups, Instagram, whatever it is that you like to utilize the most. And we show you how to post content that actually gets business owners interested in reaching out to you, and that's going to attract them. And then from there, they're going to ask to, hop on a call with you, schedule a discovery call so they can learn more about your bookkeeping services. And there is typically no cost associated with this at all. And as a matter of fact, in our Bookkeeper Academy here, sometime in January, we haven't picked the dates yet, but sometime here in the next 3 weeks, we are going to be doing a live social media marketing workshop to help you actually schedule out a whole bunch of your posts. I'd like to do for the whole year, but I think we're going to maybe do like a month or a quarter at a time and be able to already have all of the social media stuff completely done and scheduled out, which is really, really awesome. The second option that we have for marketing is called networking groups. So from here, we're going to show you how to find in-person or virtual networking groups where business owners hang out. And then we help you create a strategy when you attend these groups so you know exactly how to make the most use of your time and how to get the most clients from these groups. So we'll also show you not only how to get referrals from the group, but also establishing referral partnerships. So that way, other members of the group will be doing marketing for you as well. And then they'll most likely refer their clients, their family, and their friends to you if anybody they know needs bookkeeping as well. So it's really great because they actually start doing your marketing for you. Some of these groups are free, but the best ones do tend to have a fee. So, for example, I joined what's called an industry exclusive group where I was the only bookkeeper allowed in the group. And it cost me about $500 for an annual membership, but I made over $60,000 in my first year of being a member of that group. So, really, really awesome. It can be also great too, even if you're an introvert, because these groups are very small, they're tight knit. It turned into like a second little family for me, which was awesome. Plus, they help you do your marketing, which is even more awesome. But I really look forward to getting out of the house and going to visit with these people every single week. It usually meets once a week. And then the third main method that we teach people to get clients is through email marketing. So the first step is gathering a large list of business owners and then a secondary large list of tax offices. So I think someone asked about, there's a lot of bookkeepers and tax people in your area. I'll show you why that's kind of good. But from here, you're going to deploy an email campaign to both lists. And from here, for the business owners, you're going to be working on getting new clients. And for the tax offices, we're going to be creating partnerships. So I'm going to show you how to set up a strategic referral partnership with a tax office. And if you can get in good with 2 to 3 or even 4 tax offices, they will just keep sending you clients month after month, year after year, consistently, which is really awesome. Now, like I mentioned before, you can't get your taxes done as a business owner if your bookkeeping isn't done, right? So, most tax people either don't like to do bookkeeping or during tax season, they don't have time. So, they usually have partnerships with a handful of bookkeepers. So, when they get clients that need their taxes done, they can offload the bookkeeping to you and then they can handle their taxes. So, it's a really awesome way to just consistently get clients without having to do any marketing, which is awesome. And then this method too, it can be free if you do it very manually using your business email account and everything. But if you want to use some of our programs that can help speed it along and kind of do it on a more massive scale, can be anywhere from like 50, usually around $50 a month for each one of the programs, which you can start and stop at any time. Those will just help you get results quicker, but they're not required. So, just out of curiosity, what marketing method will you choose based on the information that I shared here? So, in the chat, type a 1, 2, 3, or 4, a 1 for social media marketing, 2 for networking groups, 3 for email marketing, or if you're going to do all of them, type a 4 for all of the above. Oops, my cup is leaking. All right. So, 1, 2, and 3s, lots of 4s. I'm so bad at social media and marketing. We'll try 4. So Brenda, that's a limiting belief. You're not bad at it. You just don't know how to do it yet. And we're going to show you how to do it. And the best way to learn is to follow our steps and then get feedback. Am I doing this right? Should I change anything? Is this most effective? So these are the questions that you can bring, to our team as you're working through these things, which is awesome. And we have to work on, saying things, making yourself believe things too. Because have you guys ever heard that quote, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right, by Henry Ford? It's so true. If you tell yourself all the time you can't do something or you're not good at it, then you could have a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so we got to start saying different things to ourselves, like, I'm going to be good at marketing, I'm going to learn how to do this, I'm going to follow the steps, and I'm going to have success, right? Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So, would you guys like to see how we support our students in the Bookkeeper Academy to actually help them achieve these results? Is that something you guys want me to walk you through? Yes. Okay, great. Okay, so the first thing that we do is we run some of our support out of this private members only Facebook group. You guys might have access to the one pictured here that's Have Your Cake and Eat It Too, but we have a smaller private one just for our Bookkeeper Academy members. And it's really nice because there's about 200 students in there that are in their first year. And this is awesome because, like I mentioned, you don't ever have to be alone. You've got this great sense of community, other people who are at the same stage in their business, same stage in their life, and be able to communicate with them and be on the same journey. A lot of people have made long, lasting, lifelong friendships from these groups, which is, we underestimate that. As a business owner, it can be lonely sometimes, but having developed these friendships is really important. We also have over 30 students in our program that are in their second, third, and fourth years of the program. So, for example, Jen Beckwith, she's still in there. Kaylee Douglas, that I told you about, she's still in there. Alicia, that had the $6,000 cleanup job, still in there. So, all these people that you can still collaborate with. And a lot of times they do guest coaching and things like that. They're almost always on the Zoom calls, which is fantastic. So, you get to collaborate with them, connect with them, learn from them as well. We also have 8 to 10 different coaches, mentors, and team members that are all in the group too, and you get to have access to them as well. They're all experts in growing businesses, doing bookkeeping, marketing, sales, mindset, all of those kinds of things, team building, and you're going to have access to all of them as well. So one of the ways in which that you do get to have access to them is that we treat the Facebook group like a ticketing system. So for every question that you have, we ask that you post it in there or submit it to us, and we answer all of those questions. And they can be related to any topic that you can think of. So sales, marketing, quoting, QuickBooks Online questions, technical bookkeeping, technical tax questions, workflow efficiency, mindset, right? All of those. Nothing is off the table because guess what? Everything is related to your success in your business, everything. So we can help with that. We've even helped some students understand how to delegate stuff at home. Like, for example, we have a student, her name also is Tiffany, and she's a super mom. She's got several kids. She takes care of her mom as well, and she just does it all. She does everything. And so we're helping her. How do you set boundaries? Like, let's start delegating some of your tasks at home so you don't have to be superwoman. You don't have to do everything. Your kids can help you. They can take on some chores, or, how can we divvy this up? And then Stephanie, we've been helping her her. She just had her second child. She has a newborn, but she's exploding. Her business is exploding. And so one of the things we helped her with is like, hey, why don't we hire somebody to come to the house and help you with the baby? So that way, if you've got some client work to do, the baby can still be right there, but somebody else can be washing the bottles or whatever it is, changing diapers and stuff from here on out. So we help with everything because everything is related to your success and your business. What's great about it too is that we answer questions 6 days a week. So Sundays we're off, but even if you ask a question on a Sunday, we're going to answer it. Our team is going to answer it Monday morning, and probably a lot of the other students will also answer questions during our off hours. So you're welcome to post questions at any 24/7 if you want. These are our current hours of when we answer questions in the group. So we're available over 70 hours a week for our students, and we have an average response time of 45 minutes or less on every single question that you post. So, I think someone mentioned, how to handle the mental load of your clients, or what to do if you have to research something. If someone asks you a question, you have to go to the IRS website, right? Well, you don't have to do that anymore. You can literally just ask the question in the group and then go do something else, and 45 minutes later you're going to have a response. On average, that's how long it takes. So we're really quick to get you guys the answers that you need. And you could even tell your client, hey, there's probably some things you're going to ask me that I'm not sure of, and if that's the case, no worries. I'm part of this really awesome group that usually I can get you an answer within about 24 hours. That's what I usually tell my students. But then if you get an answer to them in an hour, it just makes you look awesome, right? So that's what we're gonna help you guys with. And we track everything. This is our metrics board. So this was a screenshot of like all of the stuff from 1 week in there. We had 578 questions. 410 of those questions were answered in the first response, and their response time on average was 42 minutes. And then all these questions were fully resolved within an average of 65 minutes, which is really cool. So fast answers, super efficient, and speedy support there. We also have 7 to 8 Zoom calls every week, sometimes more. The main ones are scheduled for Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. Central Time. And we have one on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and Fridays at 4 p.m. The ones on Mondays and Fridays are topic specific. They are our mindset calls, overcoming what's blocking you. So these calls, we start and end our week, on a good note. And then the rest of the calls are general Q&A. We call them office hours. So you can get on there. We have students that are on their first day in the academy and students that have been in there for several years that are on these calls. So you're going to get exposed to a wide array of questions, but every question is welcome and answered. And they're scheduled for 60 minutes, but sometimes, most of the time, we stay on longer if there's more questions and people have more things that they need, or there's a lot of attendees. So you'll also have access to our client success coach. And this is somebody that's going to support you one-on-one over email, text, and if needed, the occasional phone call as well, to help you stay on track. And her whole position is to help give you that step-by-step process from day 1 through day 365. So if you ever feel like, I want to get to my goal, but I don't really know what I need to do next, she's the great person to talk to, because she's going to know exactly what you need to do next. And she's going to hold you accountable to your own goals. Everybody that comes into our program, as you guys have seen here in the chat, they all have different goals. And so we're going to help you take the next step and focus on the next thing, depending on what your personal goal is, which is awesome. And she'll help direct you to the quickest and best support option depending on what you're needing help with. Obviously, she's super supportive and motivational. And our main client success coach right now, her name's Christy, and she was in our program years ago. She had a lot of success with her business. She has a psychology degree, but she had an IT background, and she had an IT corporate job. Her business became so successful, she quit her corporate job. She then retired her husband. Her husband is now at home, and he homeschools their 4 kids, and their bookkeeping business is almost on autopilot, so much that she actually reached out, wanted to come back and work full-time for us, helping our students have the same results that she had. So it's a really unique relationship, and you guys will get to be part of that with her, which is super cool. And then when you're in the academy, you're going to get access to a lot of coursework, and the majority of it you're going to have access to forever, which is really cool. This is all the coursework you're ever going to need to have a successful bookkeeping business. We don't expect you guys to go through all of it, even in your first year. But the great thing about the coursework and then relying on our client success coach is that anytime a new question presents itself, your client asks you something you don't know, that may be a perfect opportunity to say, okay, great, here's the exact lesson that I would review in the coursework that has to do with this question. So over time, you'll, go through a lot of this, but it's really great to be able to have that direction and know you don't have to sit and go through all of this coursework right at the beginning. That's going to waste your time and hold you back from reaching your goals, but it is there for you to constantly be learning and becoming an awesome expert in this. So put a thumbs up if you guys like what you see so far for the academy support that we offer. And the last few slides I have is just showing you what a typical journey is for somebody that joins our Bookkeeper Academy. So let's say that you guys decide to join today. So the first couple weeks of January, what you're going to be doing is setting up your business back office. And this is so you're physically ready for clients. You'll have your email set up, your bank account set up, your QuickBooks set up, all that kind of stuff. So that way, if you get a client, they'll be able to, pay you, things like that. So you're going to spend some time doing that. And then from there, then you're going to watch some videos showing you the basics of bookkeeping and the basics of business ownership. And then you're going to move on to some trainings on what does it look like to actually provide amazing service to your clients. So this is going to show you a full walkthrough of how to do bookkeeping for the entire year. And what does it look like to do day-to-day, month-to-month bookkeeping for your clients? So once you go through this part, this gives you enough information that you can then have an intelligent conversation with a potential client. Are you going to know everything about bookkeeping at this point? No, impossible. Are you going to know enough that you can actually talk with a potential client? Yes. And of course, we give you the script from that, and you can practice that too. And we'll show you how to actually conduct a potential client discovery call as well. So all of this is going to happen just in the first couple of weeks. And then the last half of January, what you would be doing is developing and launching your marketing plan. So deciding, do you want to do social media or email marketing, or do you want to go join a networking group? And we help you decide what you're going to do, point you in the direction of what you need to be doing to develop that particular plan and start executing on it. And so for the last 2 weeks of January, that's what you're going to be doing, helping you get that going, helping you build some consistency and momentum with that, give you feedback on your marketing plan, and get ready to go as you're starting to get some people interested. And then usually what we see is by month 2. So in February, I would expect you guys to be enrolling your first few clients. So from there, then we're going to help you with the cleanup jobs. So you're going to learn how to onboard your client and actually do all of the work for them. And we help you hand in hand with that. It's going to be a series of here's the training video, watch this training video, try it out for your client, and then come to us if things don't match up, or if you have questions, or if you get stuck. And so we work with you through that. And then after you do that, you work through your first few clients. The rest of the year is rinse, repeat. You're going to stay consistent with your marketing so that way you can continue onboarding and working with new clients. Then we're going to support you as you're doing that. It's kind of like a paid internship, basically. Over time, we're going to help you become an expert bookkeeper. And then we're going to provide that safety net for you as you're working with clients and getting to experience all the different industries. So we're going to help make sure you quote properly, but also help you understand how to do the work. So that way, if you decide, after your 12th month in the academy, you want to do it on your own, you're going to have enough exposure with a lot of different industries that you potentially could feel confident with that. A lot of people do decide to renew and stay in our program, and we provide half price discount for everybody in their second plus years. So if you do want to stay in, we can continue to help you with that. But this is really going to help you set the foundation for a profitable business that gives you the financial, location, and time freedom that you guys are looking for. So really the next steps here is just to apply for our program, either by, applying for funding or going ahead and actually just paying. But of course, we want to make sure that you guys are, fully comfortable and have all of your questions answered. So that way, we're available to answer them. So my husband, Sean, is going to reach out to each one of you individually. So I'm going to stop sharing really quick and see what questions that you guys have. I did post the links in here again if any of you guys are ready to go. The funding moves fast. So I believe they have openings on their calendar even tomorrow. So if you applied for funding today, if you've got the $640 down, then you could get into the academy by tomorrow. If you're in Canada, you got to use that second link. Fortunately, they don't have guaranteed approval in Canada, so it is based on normal credit. Or if you guys want to put the down payment of $3,000 down, you're welcome to do that as well and just hop right into the academy. So it's really, really, really great time to get started because tax season is just kicking off. And we're also going to be doing that social media workshop here in the next couple of weeks. So if you get in now, get your back office set up and everything, it's going to be perfect time to roll right into our social media marketing workshop and start getting some quick clients for tax season, which is really awesome. So does anybody have any questions on anything that I've covered here? Do you guys type in the chat if you are looking forward to Sean texting you so that you can ask him some questions? Type in the chat if you've applied for funding already, so I know. And also type in the chat if you're thinking about applying for funding. Angela says, wasn't able to listen to the whole Zoom. What is the funding for? Just to get help if you can't afford the whole academy. Yes. So yeah, so I'll go back through the slide in case anybody was not here at the beginning. I'll show you guys again what the investment is. Let me share my screen just for you guys so that you see that. So investment for the academy, in case you did miss this part at the beginning, for the whole entire year of the Bookkeeper Academy, it's a $12,000 program. We literally support you for an entire year of growing your business. We're going to help you make $100,000 in your first 12 months, assuming you want to make that much. That's like $8,000 a month, right? So maybe some of you want to make $4,000 or $5,000 so you can have more time with your family. Set up to get you a 10x return on your investment. And you can pay that in full, or you can pay the $3,000 down, or you can actually go through funding. And again, don't forget, you can make money right away in our program. You don't have to go through the whole Bookkeeper Academy to start making money. Even if you don't have good credit, even if you don't have a job, even if you can only really afford this payment for a few months, but you're committed to coming in and taking action so you can get clients, you can still be approved for our funding. That monthly payment is only $640 a month. Again, it's the equivalent of 1 to 2 super small clients. So as you get 2, 3, 4, 5 clients, all that extra money is pure profit that you get to put into your personal account. It is based off a 24-month payment plan, so there is interest, but if you pay it off early using your new client sign-on fees, then there is an interest-free option. So let's see. Let me know if that answered your question, Angela. Brenda says, I'm hoping to be able to apply for funding this weekend. Yay! I know you've been wanting to do this for a while, Brenda. That's really exciting. I'm super stoked for you. Terry says, I'm curious about other things people might want from a bookkeeper. Reports, payroll, are these things we're trained on? Yes, 100%. We help you with knowing exactly what to deliver the client. As a matter of fact, we help you learn how to do all of the work. We help you understand the steps that you need to take. And then when you're done with your client, you actually submit the work to us, and then we do a full review of it. We call it the financial statement review feature. I didn't even talk about that. I always forget to talk about that, but we actually go into the client's books for you. We record our screen and we review everything. So what this does is it gives you information on, hey, what did I do right? So you can build up your confidence. Hey, is there anything that isn't right that I need to either fix or address with my client or ask my client a question? And then number three, it shows you how to review your own work. So over time, you get this feature with every single client you get. So by the time you have 5, 10 clients, you're going to get these review videos. You're going to know, like a rock star, how to actually review your client's work and know that you're doing a great job. So, but yes, we help with reports. We help with teaching you how to do payroll, how to make money off of payroll, sales tax. We help people with bill pay for their client. We help people learn how to do invoicing, things like that. So lots of stuff. Shannon says, thank you for the in-depth presentation. I'm still at the thinking about it phase. So yeah, no problem, Shannon. We understand it's a lot to think about. And it always helps too to just kind of talk things through one-on-one. So, if you're open for it, when my husband texts you, if you're open for a call, hopping on there and just like, putting a list of questions together for him of what makes you feel in the thinking phase, there's probably something, a couple of things that are like holding you back from, wanting to take the next step. So if you can figure out what those questions would be, then he can address them and see if it makes more sense for you. Brenda says, can Sweet Leads be added at a later time if I feel the need for additional marketing help? Yes. So right now, the Sweet Leads program, we technically closed it for enrollment as of 12/31. And I'm going to focus all of my efforts on getting those people that joined. I think we have 48 people in there that are going to be actually getting leads from me. So once that is done, we're going to open it back up and then we'll help everybody get leads too from me and save yourself the time of actually doing the marketing. But in the meantime, I still fully expect everybody to do their own marketing because you still really need to know how to do that. We really need to get good at that. But eventually, I'm hoping that the Sweet Leads program will be a program that will help students just be able to get results faster as they're learning marketing and learning bookkeeping. How they can get their clients faster that way. Valerie says, I've never worked in QuickBooks. Is training on this? Yes. So I would say when we first started this program, 97% of our students did not have experience in bookkeeping. Bookkeepers, classically trained people thought, why do I need her? I know how to do bookkeeping. What they didn't realize is they don't know how to quote. They don't know how to run a business. They don't know how to do marketing. They don't know how to set boundaries. They don't know how to talk to their clients. But so at the beginning, everyone in our academy was inexperienced and had no certifications and never even heard of QuickBooks before. And we've helped tons of them, like Jara that I talked about, who paid off $175,000 of student loan debt with her husband. She didn't have any experience in this. So that's what we specialize in. We're going to show you how to utilize QuickBooks and how to really become an expert at this. It doesn't take long because 80% of bookkeeping is data entry. Only 20% of it is actually like accounting skills that you have to learn. Most of it is like typing in the vendor's name, typing in the category, hitting add, and then reconciling, which is matching up the statements with what you entered into QuickBooks. So much of it is data entry. And so it's real easy to learn that part. So we do teach you that. Now I'd say about 30% at least of our community are people that have either a background or some kind of experience in bookkeeping, only because they've seen how much success our inexperienced students have had, and they realized they were missing out. So now we have more people that have gone the traditional route, didn't have success with it, and now want to, figure out how to really run a successful business. So, I'm not like the end all be all of, how to run a successful business, but I feel like I've done pretty well. We've probably made, I know we've hit over $10 million in the Bookkeeper Academy and going strong and still scaling. So, and having a really great profit margin, better than most businesses have. So I'd like to say you're learning from the best here. I know I'm not the best, but I do really focus on the things that I feel like are important, making sure that you have enough profit to make this worth it, right? You're going to invest time and energy into this, and you're going to step outside of your comfort zone. And we want to make sure that you're protecting the reason that you're doing this, and that is to work less and make more. And that's exactly what I want from you guys, or for you guys, really. Jessica says, why would people choose just a bookkeeper over a CPA? Great question. Well, first of all, um, a lot of CPAs don't even like to do bookkeeping. You would be really surprised. Most CPAs, well, when you're a CPA, you can go off into lots of different tangents, I guess you would say. So for example, you could be a CPA that works in a corporate, finance department. You could be a CPA that does auditing. You could be a CPA that does taxes. There's a lot of different things that CPAs can do. If you're specifically talking about a CPA that works with small businesses doing their taxes, so many of them do not like to do bookkeeping. I don't know why. I think taxes suck. I hate doing taxes. But a lot of them, for some reason, they like the challenge. It's like lawyers. Like, I don't know why you'd ever want to be a lawyer. That sounds stressful. But that's how taxes are. And I don't personally like operating in the gray. I like bookkeeping because for the most part, it's like black and white. Being a tax person is kind of in the gray. So that kind of draws in a certain personality, right? So the people, the CPAs that like taxes, they don't necessarily mind operating in the gray a little bit. When you're doing bookkeeping, it's not so much gray. It's very structured, black and white. There's always an answer. Everything balances. So it's just kind of a little bit of a different personality type. But they like to do taxes, and there's a lot of different reasons for that. But now some CPAs do like to do bookkeeping and taxes too. Obviously, I'm one. I have a few friends that are CPAs that just do bookkeeping only as well. But the majority of them, you're going to find a lot of CPAs out there that don't like to do taxes. Also, too, I think that when people are looking for a bookkeeper, they don't necessarily associate bookkeeping with CPA. People don't even necessarily associate taxes with a CPA. You can get your taxes done from somebody that's just an enrolled agent. Um, but they more often associate CPAs with taxes. So when they're looking for a bookkeeper, they may not necessarily even, correlate those two things together. Does that help, Jessica? Brenda says, love your energy and positivity. I'm definitely going to work on taking that into this new journey. Yes, I love that. I love it so much. Yeah. I mean, just try to be as excited. Take any, they say that anxiety and excitement manifest the same way in your body. So if you feel anxious about something, try to turn your thoughts to turn it into an excited feeling. So you guys are most likely going to be nervous when you start your business, right? But think about the exciting part of it. Think about what it's going to be like to reach your goals, or what it's going to be like to quit your job, or what it's going to be like to take your kids on a 2-week vacation, So like turn it into excitement. I have a student in my program, Marissa, and she is so excited. Her plan is to quit her job, and she was nervous at first and kind of, not doing so much, and then she really got on a path of like, okay, I'm gonna take action. And she's like, now I'm just like, I've got all this nervous energy because I'm so excited because I know I'm gonna be able to quit my job, and I want to do it now instead of in a month. And so she's just like turning all of that nervous energy into excitement and then channeling it into marketing, which is, that's what will be really helpful for you guys. So anybody else have any questions? These are all really, really great questions, and happy to keep answering them for you all. Still so many of you guys on here. You guys stuck around with me for like over 2 hours. Most people, when they do webinars, it's like 40 minutes and you lose people's attention, but you guys are awesome. Everybody always stays on so long. I love it. So if you guys have any more questions, happy to keep staying on here. But also too, if not, no big deal. My husband will reach out to all of you guys. So be looking out for a text. If you don't get a text from him, it might be because you have like a spam blocker or something on. So watch your email, and he'll tell you his phone number in there. So if you, don't get a text and you text him, then the text messages will start coming through. But then it'll be the direct line to us. So if you have any questions about this, then, we're happy to address those. Are there any other costs after joining regarding the Academy services? Great question. So after you join the Bookkeeper Academy program, there aren't any costs associated from our team, but you will have some various like other little business expenses, like If you do, the one thing that we do have that we offer right now is you could pay an extra $300 and have our team design your logo. We offer that right now. Um, the other small expenses that you have, let me show you this little cheat sheet here. I know people like visuals. Here we go. Startup and ongoing expenses. So these are typical expenses that you might have just in your business. It's very minimal. The overhead is extremely low, but you're going to set up an LLC. So that could cost anywhere from $50 to $800. And this totally depends on where you live. If you live in California, it's $800 every year. They make you pay that. If you live in Missouri, it's a $50 one-time fee to get your LLC. So there's that. Oh, we do have a preferred vendor. It's called Prime Corporate Services, and they actually will set up your LLC for you. They do charge a fee for that. So if you do want to utilize their services, they also offer tax planning, estate planning, and business credit services. So you get to have a free consultation call with them. All in all, it's basically a sales call, but they'll tell you about the things that they do. And if you choose to have them do any of those things for you, you would have to pay extra for that. Otherwise, you can try to do these on your own. So it's always like, pay somebody to help you to get it done faster, figure out how to do it yourself. You can do those things too. But filing for your LLC, and then once you get your first client, we show you how to get your errors and emissions insurance, which is like 20, 30, $40 a month. We'll show you how to set up your own domain for your business, which costs anywhere from like $1 to like $15 per year, just depending on the name you pick. We'll show you how to set up your company branded email account, which ranges from $8 to $12 per month, depending on the features you want. And then all you really need is a laptop or a computer, internet, Microsoft Excel, and then we'll show you how to get QuickBooks Online Accountant. That's free to utilize. And then the only other costs that you could run into is if you decide to pay for some of those things with marketing that does cost. So like if you decide to join a networking group, could be $500 to $800. If you decide to utilize any of the programs, when we do our social media marketing program, we're going to show you how you can manually post everything, which would be free. Or we can show you how to schedule everything out for the whole year, which is a program I think costs like $99 a month. But so that's optional though. A lot of the stuff is kind of optional. So great question. Great question. Anything else? Any other questions? You're very welcome, Rolitza. Thank you guys so much for joining. Appreciate it. And we will be reaching out to all of you guys soon. So hope you guys all have a wonderful afternoon. If you want to hop on again, I will be available on Saturday, 10 a.m. Central Time as well. So we will see you there. All right. Can't wait to see you guys all in the academy. Bye.